the challenge of sport is overcoming obstacles to get to the top, well, my guest is truly a sportsman. His life is the stuff legends are written about. He's India's latest sporting hero. His name is Pullela Gopichand. Welcome to the program, Gopi. Let's start on Sunday, the 11th of March. It's the finals of the All England Badminton Championship. You're trailing 7-11 to Chen Hong. Were you nervous?
I was initially when I went on court, but then later as the match progressed, I had a plan for the whole match. So I was not really bothered about the deficit as much because I had a plan to start slow, and I was expecting to have a deficit maybe in the initial part of the first game. So it went on, but 11-7, 12-7, it was getting a bit close to be comfortable. I was a bit nervous at that stage, but I was hopeful that things will work, and I kept playing the same strategy.
Things didn't just work. You won in straight games, 15-12, 15-6. I mean, was it as easy as the scores actually seem to suggest?
I think a lot goes on into the match, and I had prepared well for the match, and in the tournament I was playing very well. So, and after the victories which I had earlier in the tournament, I was very confident about the way things would go in the finals. So I just went on, stuck to my plan, and things really did go well.
Everyone said that the real final was in fact your encounter with Peter Christensen in the semis. Would you accept that?
Yes, Peter was a tough opponent to play. He was playing well through the tournament. Also through the year, if you had said he probably had about 38 straight wins coming into that match. So he was in form.
He wasn't just in form. I think he managed to save 4 match points. Were you getting desperate at that point?
Actually, I was playing a very calculated game initially on in the first game. Then when I got to 13-14 in the second game, what I thought was I have a lead now, let me go for the lines, and out of 4, even if 1 hits, then I have my point. So that's the way I was thinking at that time. But Peter got back some really amazing strokes, and then I said, okay, there's no point, and let me do some things which I haven't done in the whole match.
So you were gambling a little?
I was trying to catch him off guard because he was also going on with the rhythm of my game. He had caught up with a lot of strokes which I was catching him earlier. So I said to myself, what didn't I do all this time? And I had a couple of strokes more left.
In fact, you didn't drop a single game, if I'm right through the All England Championship. Would you say you were on a roll?
I was definitely on a roll. I was playing probably the best badminton I'd played till now. And also the fact that the courts at the All England Championships were very hard. It didn't give me an option to be defensive in the first game. So I had to go all out attacking and had to finish most of the matches.
As you say, everything came together in England and you were playing the best badminton you've played. What do you think went wrong earlier this month in Seville at the World Championship?
At the World Championships, I was in fact playing well. The team matches were good. I won all my matches in good scores, and also the matches till the quarterfinals were good. Then at the day of the quarterfinals, I wasn't very fit on that particular day because I was having blisters in my feet.
Oh, and no, bad luck.
Yeah, I think that's part of sport, and yeah, it just happens. And I was not playing 100%, and I think if you don't play 100% at that level, it's not much of a chance you have.
Is that why, again, you were playing against Chen Hong in the quarterfinals, you were leading 6-1, and everyone sort of felt you were going to run away with it. So it was the blisters that actually began to pain at the wrong moment.
I think I was trying to be deceptive because that was my only chance of making the game slower. Because it was paining, okay, I could take the pain and continue on. But every time my foot hit the ground, my left foot hit the ground, I couldn't really take the push out of it. So it was making me a little slower. So I thought it wouldn't really work just playing that way. I had to slow down and make it more deceptive, and that's what I tried.
And do you think he read through the deception?
Yes, in the sense there was not much option I had. I would just clear up, I would try everything and do a lot of things, but I was just hoping that there were a good couple of rallies which would go much longer than what they did, and he would get a little tired and get a little slower.
But you know, despite that, it's been an amazing year because everything's worked for you this year. The only other thing that perhaps didn't was the fact that at the Sydney Olympics, you never got a medal. I saw your face when you did that. Was it a big disappointment?
Yes, Sydney was probably the biggest disappointment I had for a long time. And yes, I prepared really well. I'm not unhappy about things now, but after Sydney I was really down because I really worked hard for about 2 or 3 months, put everything. I don't think I could have prepared better than that, and well, I couldn't get a medal, and I was very confident in spite of a lot of things which happened back home, or a lot of people who would say that no, he doesn't have a chance. But in my heart, I thought I had a very good chance. So when I lost it, I was really unhappy.
What do you blame it on? Do you think that you failed yourself, or was it just that there weren't enough people to practice with during those critical days before the actual playing?
There are a few things, but then I think as a sportsman, you have to do away with what you have, and it's at the end of it, it's I who have to play. And
So you have to take the blame too?
Yeah, I have to take all the blame.
Does it still hurt losing Sydney, not getting a medal?
Yes, it does, but it has changed my view of things a lot over the years. In the sense, after Sydney, I wouldn't like to hold the racket for almost 20 days. I would just be training, doing a lot of running and weights, but I said I cannot play badminton now because I just wouldn't feel like going on court because I gave it everything I had, and Sydney was that way. But after that, I realized that, well, tournaments come and go, and it's that you have to keep trying every time. And I'm not ashamed with my loss, even at the World Championships. I tried what I had. I couldn't have prepared better with what I had, so I'm not unhappy now.
You've learned to take winning and losing in your stride. But you know, the amazing thing, Gopi, is that all of this 7 years ago would have been completely unbelievable. In 1994 at the National Championships in Pune, you were seriously injured. What exactly happened?
I twisted my knee and broke a ligament and broke a lot of things in the knee, basically.
You didn't just twist it, I believe it was literally at 180 degrees.
Yeah. Actually, I collided with my partner moving back and he coming sideways, so I couldn't see him, he couldn't see me. And he landed on my knee. And I tried to play later, and the next rally I played and I put my weight onto my left foot, it just twisted totally, so it was bad.
You were confined to bed for 6 months and more, and they said that you would never play again. Looking back, were you very depressed?
I was depressed because over the years, all my childhood, a lot of my childhood, this is the only source of happiness which I used to get from playing badminton. And suddenly I realized that there were tournaments happening. I would read the paper the next morning, and Gopichand wouldn't be there in the papers. So not as much as the fame or the part of winning, but just the part of not playing, not being able to do what I want to, hurt me. So I really wanted to get back and do the sport better.
But there was one man who believed in you, who didn't just say that you would come back, he even predicted that one day you would win the All England Championship. Do you remember him?
Yeah, my doctor, Dr. Ashok Gopal. I'm very grateful to him because he was a great doctor, of course. He did great things to my knee. But more than that, I think he did a lot for me psychologically. He boosted me up, and every time I would go, I said, oh, your left knee is better than your right, and you just go ahead.
Would you believe him?
I had the confidence in him, yeah. He did a great job with my knee, and I had the confidence.
And you were hoping probably all the time that he would be right?
Yes, definitely. And yes, I had the confidence in myself. I just wanted to play, and I was ready to give it more tries than anybody could. So I was ready to try, and I knew that I had the right person behind me.
You know, it wasn't just confidence that you had in yourself. You got injured, if I'm right, on the 24th of January 1994. Exactly 1 year later, on the 24th of January 1995, you stormed back and defeated the then national champion, Dipankar Bhattacharya. The world was surprised, but did you surprise yourself?
I was happy to be back, and I knew even if I was not 100% physically there, I had the strokes and I had the mental capacities to win.
But beating the national champion 1 year to the date that you twisted your leg 180 degrees, I mean, that must have surprised you.
I was not looking at that, or I didn't have any dreams basically when I got my injuries. I just wanted to get back as soon as possible, go on court and play. Of course, I had troubles because I would lose to players who I might beaten very comfortably. And I had by then accepted defeat, and I was just making it as another step going forward. So I was hoping that things would come. I knew things would come rather, and but I was really surprised it came so fast.
Tell me something, you used a very interesting phrase just now, I had accepted defeat. Looking back as a competitive sportsman, how important is it to learn to endure defeat and to learn to overcome terrible obstacles?
I think you have to accept that as a sportsman, defeat and winning, they're just part of sports. You just cannot have one without the other. And
So it's a mental attitude.
yeah, you have to accept it and learn things from it. If you don't learn, then that's wrong. But every time you lose, if you learn something, then it's worth the defeat.
That's how you convert defeat into victory, by learning from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when the world has given up on you and everyone was saying he's never going to play again, was it difficult to believe in yourself?
I wanted to play. I didn't really know. I was very much involved with what I was doing, the kind of rehabilitation work. I would put it totally 100% in it. And I would just think as far as the rehab goes. And I just wanted, when I went on court the first time, I was so happy to go and play. I just said, okay, and now I'm back, let me play. And then when I played the first tournament, so I said, let me give my 100% here. And that's what my basic aim was, that I go there, go on court, go on to a practice session and give what I have, 100%. And if the results come well, fine. But if they don't, then I'll have to put better next time.
You took it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Don't look too far, just get to the next step and then to the one after that.
Over the years, like I've had about 3 surgeries till date, and things don't really, in sport at least, don't go the way you plan always. In the sense, the first time I fell down, I was playing probably the best badminton. I had beaten the then #1 in 2 games under 5 points, and I was playing really well, and suddenly the injury happened. And the next time it happened, it was like you would have. I would go on court and say, wow, I'm the fittest, I'm really playing well. And then I had this injury. There was no reason for it to happen. I had planned things for 6 months later. Or the Sydney Olympics, because you plan for something and something else happens, and what it gets you is you become depressed. Instead, I feel it's important that you take it one step at a time, give your 100% and see what happens.
Has all of this made you religious? Do you believe that there's a power out there that guides you and perhaps sometimes even trips you up?
Yes.
And does that give you strength, or does that also sometimes make you a little worried?
It makes me believe that it's the present moment that you are in, which is very important, and to give your 100% in what you do is what is important, and the results will come, definitely.
So live for this moment, don't worry about what happens next.
Yes.
Let's take a break there, Gopi. I want to come back and talk about the man behind the champion, the side of Pullela Gopichand that we don't really see very often. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stick with us. Welcome back. My guest is Pullela Gopichand. Let's go back to the beginning of your story. I gather that as a child, you were fascinated by moustaches. Why moustaches?
Oh. Well, my uncle, he had a huge moustache, and well, I wanted to be big. I wanted to grow up faster, and that's probably the reason I was.
Your parents say that they used this fascination to get you out of what they called a bad childhood habit. Do you remember what it was and how they did it?
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah, when I was really young, maybe 3 years or 4 years, I would really sleepwalk from my bed onto my parents' bed and sleep there the night. And they would say, oh, if you do this, then you won't get the moustaches. And we had this mama called Prasad Mama. So he would come the next day and say, I would ask him that whether I had grown any moustache. I would say, did you sleep with your mom? I said, yeah. He said, then no. That's how things went on.
Now, they sent you to school at an incredibly young age. I believe you weren't even 2, and they sent you to school. Why did they do that?
I loved the teachers, and there were a lot of sisters in Krishnan school, and they used to love me, they used to play with me, and my brother used to go to school, and I wanted to go to school as well, so they had no option. I would make a lot of noise.
But you're seriously telling me you went to school because you loved the teachers?
Yeah, this was more fun because any birthday sweets or something, I could just go on to the teacher. put my hand in the pocket and take the sweets, and that's probably one of the reasons I went there.
Except that when you were in the first grade, you had a little cycle accident with one of the school teachers, and you didn't love him very much, did you?
Actually, we had these strange bets in school, actually, that time. I still remember this very incident very clearly, because I had this bet with a friend of mine that, and we almost had it every second or third day, that whoever closes his eyes and crosses the road wins. And had almost done that, and on the end part of the road, there was a cycle, and whose spoke really went very close to my eye.
So it was a bad accident?
It was a bad accident, and I didn't feel much immediately afterwards, because it was quite cool, and I said, okay, it's a small injury. But then the day later, it used to hurt very much, and I would tell my parents, no, this man should be sent to the police. And
you wanted to take your teacher to the police station. You started, I'm told, playing badminton at the age of 10. At that time, was it the game that attracted you, or were you simply following in your elder brother's footsteps?
I loved the sport in the sense my brother used to play, and we used to stay very close to the stadium. And actually just started off as that every summer we would have problems at home, because I would be breaking window panes playing cricket, or I also had this problem with the sun, and I used to get sunstroke every summer. So, and we used to stay close to the stadium, so my mom said, why don't you go to the stadium? So I just went there, hanged around for almost 3 or 4 days. I didn't play any sport. I just went around watching all the other games and would come back home. And it's finally badminton which I liked the most.
But tell me, looking back, what was it about the game that attracted you?
I think back then, if you would say, I wouldn't be able to explain, but today I can tell you that back then it was just a fascination. It was a lovely sport. It's good fun to play it, and that's what I liked the most. And my brother was playing, and we had some connection in our family.
Quite right. Your aunt was the Andhra Pradesh champion for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah. So we had, at home, it was a lot easier to speak badminton and communicate and tell my parents or talk to them about badminton. So badminton as a sport was in the family. But I think it's a wonderful sport, and it's like chess, for example. It's so much of maneuvering added with the physical capabilities and the strokes and stuff.
You won your first major championship when you won the national juniors title in '91. Today, when you have 5 national seniors titles and the coveted All England championship, is that first title still a sweet memory?
Yes, it was, and it was important for a lot of reasons. In the sense, when I was 17, for example, I was still a science student, still trying to get into an engineering college, as many of the students would. So I would really, my parents said, okay, you get this year's time when you have to really try and do something, because nobody was really sure about badminton as a career. So winning that, I made sure that I would continue with badminton as my career. So it remains all the more sweet.
The amazing thing is that, you know, unlike cricket, there's not a lot of sponsorship support for badminton, and I gather that badminton is quite a deceptively expensive game to play.
Yeah, the shuttles are very expensive, the rackets, and also as a sportsman you have to travel, the food, the clothing, a lot of things. And in my family, for example, my brother and I used to play. So it is very expensive, definitely. And sponsorship has been good, but it's never been my motivation to play the sport. I love the sport, so I just played it.
But in those early days, before you began winning championships and becoming a national hero, was it a struggle for your parents to support your interest in badminton?
Yeah, it was very much. I think whatever the family had basically was given up for my sport, and
real financial sacrifices were made to put you through badminton?
Yes, a lot of them. A lot of them.
Over the years, you've come to be very close to your mother. Would you say that a lot of your sporting success is her credit, in fact?
A lot of things without the family support would never have been possible, for the reason that she would get up at 5 in the morning. Like if I had to go to the stadium at 5:30, she would get up before me, make things ready. When I came back from practice, my breakfast used to be ready, and my bag for school used to be ready, and the same in the evening. And that's how it went on for most of my childhood and a lot of years then. Back then, I never used to allow my parents to watch me play. So
why was that? Were you shy?
Yes, I was. I was very conscious of I don't know. But nowadays I make sure that I take them as much as I can.
So when you won the All England Championship, were they with you or did you have to telephone them to give them the news?
Yeah, I had to telephone them. They weren't with me. But at the moment, still, I would take them to most tournaments domestically. But hopefully next time I'll take her for the All England.
What did your mother say when you told her, I've won the biggest title there is?
She was very happy. She couldn't really speak much, and
She was overwhelmed with emotion.
yeah, she was.
She tells me that despite the fact you're very close to her, you very rarely, if ever, bring her back a present when you come from abroad.
Actually, that's one thing which my family never asked me or never expected from me. Even my sister, for example, I would go out for tournaments in 1991, and I would never shop, and I would just play, watch matches, come back.
Hate shopping or don't think of it?
I don't think of it, and I really get tired shopping because I'm not used to it. So, and it's never been my habit so much, and it's so much easier for me to concentrate on my sport because I know that my family doesn't expect any material things so much, but they're just very happy with the way I am.
The interesting thing is your friends say that he's reserved and shy. Is that really the truth? You don't come across as a reserved, shy person.
I need a lot of time for myself, and I'm yeah, I'm a bit shy sometimes. But
Do you protect yourself? Are you very private?
I'm not really, but it's just that I have a lot of things which I have in the sense I have a very fixed kind of a routine, which I have in the morning. I need so many hours for my yoga and for my kriya and stuff, and then my practice and my rest and my food habits. So everything makes it is very organized at the moment. So when there's some distraction in there, then I really don't like it. So then I'll have to keep away and do a lot of things on my own.
So you like a routine, formal life and you don't like surprises?
I think it's important. It's not that I don't like this or I don't like that, but I think as a sportsman it's important that you eat well, you rest well and you practice well. And these are things which need a very routine kind of a life.
Gopi, thank you very much for talking to me. Good luck and keep up the great winning.
Thank you.
Thank you.